There is a line on the map, over 5,500 miles long, the longest undefended border in the world. On one side, a nation forged in the fires of revolution, a loud, ambitious, and bombastic cultural superpower. On the other, a nation forged in careful compromise, a vast, diverse, and quietly confident giant. The United States and Canada. Two brothers sharing a continent, so similar on the surface, yet so profoundly different in their souls. Today, we're not just listing facts, we're exploring the character of these two nations by examining the very best things they have given to the world, from the wildness of their landscapes and the genius of their innovations, to the visions of their artists, the sound of their cities, and the flavor of their tables. Before any person set foot here, the land itself was the main character. Both countries were blessed with a staggering natural beauty, but it manifests in ways that reflect their national character. America's natural beauty is often about raw, dramatic, almost violent power. Nothing embodies this more than the Grand Canyon in Arizona, a wound in the Earth's crust a mile deep, painted in hues of red and orange, so vast it creates its own weather. It's a place that commands your attention, a testament to time and brutal erosion. Further north, in Wyoming, lies Yellowstone, the world's first national park. It's a hyperactive, alien landscape of boiling mud pots, steaming geysers like Old Faithful, and prismatic hot springs that swirl with impossible colors. Out west, you can stand in California's Redwood National Park and feel like an ant at the feet of living giants, trees that were ancient when Rome was founded, their heads literally in the clouds. And in Florida, you have the Everglades, a slow-moving, silent river of grass teeming with alligators and ancient life. American nature is a loud, spectacular, and sometimes dangerous show. If American nature is a spectacle, Canadian nature is a soul-stirring immersion. Head north into Alberta, to Banff and Jasper National Parks. Here, the Rocky Mountains are sharper, more jagged, their peaks piercing impossibly blue skies. They cradle glacial lakes like Lake Louise and Moraine Lake, whose turquoise water, fed by glacial silt, seems to glow from within. This isn't a passive beauty, it's an active one. In Nova Scotia, you can witness the highest tides on Earth at the Bay of Fundy, where the ocean rises and falls over 50 feet twice a day, carving new sculptures into the coastline with every cycle. Canada's beauty is also in its sheer quantity and ancient foundation. Much of the country rests on the Canadian Shield, some of the oldest rock on the planet, a rugged landscape of rock, forest, and more lakes than the rest of the world combined. It's a sprawling, pristine wilderness that speaks to a quieter, more profound connection with the earth. This vast continent inspired not just awe, but ambition. Both nations became hotbeds of invention, but their genius took different paths. American innovation is often about radical, world-changing disruption, about rewriting the rules for everyone. In the 20th century, American minds gave us the assembly line, which put the world on wheels. They gave us the integrated circuit, the tiny silicon chip that powers our digital age. In the New Mexico desert, the Manhattan Project harnessed the power of the atom, a terrifying and world-altering display of scientific dominance. They took us to the moon in the space race, a feat of pure, audacious ambition that captured the imagination of the entire planet. And most profoundly, they created ARPANET, the government project that grew into the Internet, fundamentally rewiring human communication. From the light bulb that conquered darkness to the GPS in your pocket that conquered distance, American invention is about big, bold ideas that reshape reality on a global scale. Canadian innovation often feels more personal, focused on solving specific, human problems with quiet brilliance. In a cold country, a Canadian team invented the snowmobile. Doctors in Toronto, led by Frederick Banting and Charles Best, co-discovered insulin, turning a fatal disease into a manageable condition and saving untold millions of lives in one of history's greatest medical gifts. While an American patented the telephone, it was Alexander Graham Bell, a man who considered Canada his home, who conceived of the idea there. The very first electric oven was built in Ottawa, and the simple, everyday paint roller was invented in Toronto. Even peanut butter was first patented by a Canadian as a food for people who couldn't chew. Perhaps most quintessentially, it was a Canadian, James Naismith, who invented the game of basketball in 1891, simply to give his students an indoor activity during the harsh winter months. Even on the world stage, Canada's contributions, like the Canadarm in space or its pioneering role in UN peacekeeping under Lester B. Pearson, are often about enabling cooperation and making life better and safer for everyone. It's an innovation born of practicality and care. Just as they innovate differently, they also create differently. The art of a nation reveals its inner thoughts. American art, particularly in the 20th century, is often defined by a bold, confident, and sometimes aggressive energy. Think of the abstract expressionist movement after World War II. Artists like Jackson Pollock, with his chaotic and powerful drip paintings, weren't just creating art, they were declaring a new kind of American cultural dominance, free from European tradition. This was followed by pop art, where artists like Andy Warhol took everyday objects like soup cans and turned them into high art, a commentary on American consumerism and celebrity culture. It's an art that is loud, self-assured, and engaged in a constant conversation with the idea of America itself. Canadian art, for much of its history, was engaged in a different conversation, not with the world, but with the land. The most famous Canadian artists are likely the Group of Seven, a collective of painters in the early 20th century. They rejected European styles and went out into the vast, untamed Canadian wilderness, particularly the rugged landscape of the Canadian Shield. Their paintings of windswept pines, lonely lakes, and rolling hills defined a national identity rooted in nature. Their art isn't about chaos or celebrity, it's about solitude, resilience, and the profound, almost spiritual relationship between humanity and a vast, wild landscape. A country's soul can also be heard in its music. And here, the two brothers developed profoundly different voices. American music is a story of raw, unfiltered emotion, born from a melting pot of struggle and joy. From the muddy banks of the Mississippi Delta came the blues, the foundational sound of American popular music, an expression of pain and perseverance that would give birth to countless other genres. That sound electrified and morphed into rock and roll in Memphis and Cleveland, a sound of youthful rebellion that swept the globe. In the vibrant, multicultural streets of New Orleans, jazz was born, a uniquely American art form built on improvisation, conversation, and freedom. And in the Bronx, New York, the beat of hip-hop emerged from block parties, becoming a global language of rhythm, poetry, and protest. American music is a powerful, declarative force that announces its presence to the world. Canada's musical soul, by contrast, is often found in the voice of the solitary storyteller. It is the land of the singer-songwriter. Artists like Leonard Cohen, Joni Mitchell, and Neil Young became global icons not through bombast, but through poetry, introspection, and complex lyricism. Their music often feels shaped by the vast, empty landscapes of their home country, filled with space for thought and reflection. They painted pictures of the Canadian landscape and the intricate landscapes of the human heart, exploring themes of love, loss, and social justice with a nuanced, literary depth. While America was creating anthems for the crowd, Canada was writing poems for the individual, a quieter but no less powerful contribution to the world's soundtrack. The character of a nation is crystallized in its great cities. New York City is the quintessential American metropolis. It is a vertical city, a chaotic, non-stop symphony of ambition. It's the city of Wall Street, Broadway, Times Square, a place of immense competition and spectacle, where millions arrive with a dream of making it. Its energy is aggressive, impatient, and relentlessly creative. The architecture itself is a testament to this, a forest of skyscrapers each vying to be taller and more impressive than the last, built on a rigid grid system that speaks to order imposed on chaos. It is a city that never sleeps because it is always chasing the next big thing. Toronto, Canada's largest city, offers a different model. It is often called one of the most multicultural cities on Earth. It is a horizontal city, a sprawling mosaic of distinct neighborhoods: Little Italy, Greektown, Koreatown, Little India. Its identity is not found in a single, central monument, but in the peaceful coexistence and celebration of hundreds of different cultures living side by side. The energy is less about competition and more about community. The city's motto is, "Diversity our strength," and its architecture reflects this, with modern glass towers seamlessly integrated with historic Victorian homes and bustling ethnic markets. If New York is a declaration, Toronto is a conversation. Nothing tells you more about a country than its food, the things people choose to share at their tables. American food is a story of immigration and bold, regional pride. Its most famous export, the hamburger, is a simple German dish perfected and popularized into a global icon. But America's true culinary soul lies in its barbecue. From the smoky brisket of Texas to the tangy, vinegar-based pulled pork of the Carolinas, barbecue is a slow-cooked, fiercely debated art form. And in New Orleans, you have Creole and Cajun cooking, a complex blend of French, Spanish, West African, and Native American influences that creates dishes like gumbo and jambalaya, a true melting pot of flavors, rich and complex. Canadian food often feels like a warm hug against the cold. Its most famous dish is poutine, a seemingly strange but genius combination of French fries and cheese curds, smothered in hot gravy. It's a national comfort food. In Montreal, you have the distinct style of bagels, boiled in honey-sweetened water and cooked in a wood-fired oven, creating a sweeter, denser rival to the New York bagel. And for dessert, the humble butter tart, a small, gooey pastry whose recipe is fiercely debated from one family to the next, or the Nanaimo bar, a no-bake layered dessert from British Columbia. It's not about spectacle, it's about a sweet, simple, and perfect bite of home. So what does it all mean? When we look at the landscapes, the inventions, the art, and the cities, a fundamental difference in character emerges. It comes down to two different answers to the question, what is a good life? The United States has always been defined by the individual's pursuit of greatness. It is the land of the second act, a place where you can reinvent yourself, take enormous risks, and chase a dream with explosive ambition. People are drawn to America for the gamble, the chance to build an empire from nothing, to become a star, to create a world-changing technology. It is a culture that celebrates the spectacular win, even if it comes with the risk of a spectacular failure. The American promise is not one of security, but of opportunity. It is the high-stakes, high-reward pursuit of a great life. Canada, in contrast, offers a different promise, one that is perhaps quieter but no less profound. It is defined not by the individual's pursuit of greatness, but by the community's pursuit of a good quality of life. People are drawn to Canada for its stability, its safety, and its robust social safety net. It is a culture that values order, compromise, and the collective good. The promise is not a gamble for spectacular success, but a foundation upon which to build a secure and prosperous life for your family and your community. It is the pursuit of a good life, built together. One is not better than the other, they are simply two different kinds of hope, two different visions for what a nation can be. Two nations, born from the same rugged continent. One, a land of explosive innovation and dramatic landscapes. The other, a land of practical genius and profound natural beauty. One whose cities scrape the sky with ambition, the other whose cities spread out in a welcoming mosaic. Whether it's the roar of a geyser or the quiet glow of a glacial lake, the global revolution of the internet or the life-saving gift of insulin, the raw power of hip-hop or the quiet poetry of a folk song, the United States and Canada offer different, but equally brilliant, best things, to the world. Two brothers, two paths, forever sharing one home.